Hi people, it's me, Anja, my pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for part 2 of my favorite Sapphic graphic novels. I remember putting out part 1 of this video last June, and it performed so much better than I was really expecting it to, and I think that I'm always surprised whenever my videos do really well, because I'm always used to like emotionally investing in spaces or in people or in relationships or something, where it's not exactly reciprocated, you know what I mean? So whenever I post on YouTube or I talk about books on Twitter or something, it's like I'm screaming into a void sometimes because people don't actually always reciprocate the same energy, you know what I mean? So basically whenever a video does really well, I'm always quite surprised, but I'm very thankful and super grateful. And I don't know, whenever I talk about my channel in real life to like people in my personal life and I explain how many subscribers I have, I always feel like I have to add that like the number of subscribers I have does not exactly translate to the number of people who watch my videos consistently. However, I'm so grateful for those few people who do watch my videos consistently. So basically what I'm trying to say, thank you so much to all the people who watch my videos consistently. I'm so incredibly grateful to all of you, and also like to the people who are subscribing to my channel consistently and who watch and comment and like all the time. Like, I'm so incredibly thankful to all of you, and I think that I don't say that often enough. So anyway, with that said, I hope that you genuinely enjoy this video. I hope this video genuinely like diversifies your bookshelf and everything. Graphic novels are so easy for me to read as a fast reader already. So like reading a graphic novel for me takes like little to no time at all. But anyway, I read so much of them so often, so I decided to make this video since I've read a slew of really good Sapphic graphic novels lately. So with that said, the first book on this list is called Leap. I read this book back in November, I think. Basically, it's a YA Sapphic contemporary graphic novel following two dancers at a performing arts center. And it's like so good. It talks about first love and crushes and figuring out your sexuality and like falling out of step with your dreams, which I think is so important. And like falling out of love with a thing that has defined you for a very long time is so relevant, and it's so important, and it's so interesting. And I also loved the characters, like figuring out their sexuality, not together necessarily. They don't fall in love, by the way, but like I love their friendship platonically. And like also, I think this book is set in Romania, if I'm not mistaken. And like, I think the culture surrounding like dancing and everything in ballet and queerness was so good. This book is absolutely so excellent. I love the illustrations and the plot, the characters and everything. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called The Deep Dark. This story is a YA contemporary urban fantasy graphic novel following a young Sapphic main character who's hiding a dark secret in her basement. Does that make any sense? It shouldn't, unless you've read this book already. But anyway, this book was so good. The illustrations are so pretty and so well done. I already had really high expectations entering this book just because the author previously wrote and I believe illustrated The Girl from the Sea, and this book was so excellent. Such a solid sophomore novel. Like, it's so good. The illustrations, first of all, are so vivid and so vibrant, and I loved how they were different concerning like what timeline she was in, if that makes any sense. The romance was so cute, so well paced. I loved it. I loved like the secret that she was keeping. No spoilers here, but I loved the world building and the setting and the plot and the friendship and like everything about it. It's so good. This book is absolutely so excellent, and it's so well done. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Mamo. I think that's how you say it, but I'm not completely sure. The problem with reading underrated books is when I've mispronounced a title or like an author or something. Like, the book itself doesn't really have an active or ongoing fandom, so I don't quite know if I'm saying it correctly or not. But anyway, this story is a YA urban fantasy graphic novel following a young Sapphic main character who's gathering the bones of her deceased grandmother, if that makes any sense. And it's so good. I picked up this recommendation, I think, from Bookstagram, which is so rare for me, because typically I find new books to read as I'm combing through Goodreads lists, such as YA books of 2025, or middle grade books of 2025, or 2024, or 2023, or whatever year it is, or whatever the upcoming year is, or whatever. But anyway, this book is so good. I think a friend of mine or something was recommending it because it's queer, and I'm always on the lookout for more like queer book recommendations, and I'm so excited that I picked up this book and that I read it because it's so good. The illustrations are so pretty and so vivid. The story itself is awesome. I love the characters. I love the Sapphic romance. Like, everything about it is so well done, and it's so excellent, and I love the writing, like, so much. But anyway, overall, I would really highly, highly recommend it. So, there you have it. Next book on this list is called Kirby's Lessons for Falling in Love. I read this book maybe like 6 weeks ago for you, the beginning of March for me, which is like 4 weeks ago now? I don't remember. It was like right after I read Oathbound, and I read Oathbound the day it came out. So anyway, this book is a YA contemporary graphic novel following a young Asian Sapphic main character who is navigating family dynamics as well as her own sexuality. This book is absolutely so awesome, and it's so well done. I think it's so good because, first of all, I loved the illustrations, I loved the plot and the story and the characters and the Sapphic romance, and everything about it, like, was so good and so well paced. I just watched the story, like, and the characters come to life so well, and it was just so good. And it felt so, like, real and raw and honest and messy. I don't know if that really makes any sense, but sometimes when I start a graphic novel, since I'm going to read it and consume it so quickly anyway, like, I don't really, digest the story as well, because, like, I'm hooked on the art, but not the story itself. I don't know if that makes any sense, and I know that I've said that before too, but anyway, this book was so good. And it was so awesome and so well done in terms of the writing and the pacing and the story and everything. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Renegade Girls. This story is a YA historical fiction graphic novel following a young undercover reporter in the 1880s who is fighting injustice as well as getting caught up in a whirlwind Sapphic romance. This book is absolutely so excellent, and it's so well done. And I know that I just talked about this book like last week or something like that, so I apologize if my review is rather redundant. But anyway, this book is so good. First of all, I love it when characters are undercover, just because, like, when I was younger, I wanted to be a spy. I don't remember why, but I just found that to be so intriguing and so cool. And I think it was because, like, I was reading a lot of detective stories when I was younger, like Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys and everything, when I was under the age of like 11 and whatnot. And anyway, I love this book so much, and I've mentioned before that I also love stories about like journalism and stuff like that. So anyway, this book was so good. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. The romance is so cute and so well paced. I need to read more queer historical fiction novels. This book is excellent, and I love it so much. I love the plot and the story and the characters and the romance, and like everything about it was so well done and so stunning and vibrant. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The last book on this list, and definitely not the least, is called Carousel Summer. I just read this book yesterday, so the recent reads video that you just watched, I also filmed today a few hours ago. So basically, all that to say, I apologize if this review is rather redundant, but basically, if you didn't know, this story is a middle-grade contemporary graphic novel following a young, gay main character who is navigating her lesbian identity for the first time. And I think this book is absolutely so excellent, and it's so good. First of all, the characters are so well developed and so distinct, and they truly feel like real people and real teenagers. I loved the main character's relationship and dynamic with, like, her brother and her dad, and, like, her best friend and her new crush, and, like, the Sapphic romance is so cute and so wholesome. This book is absolutely so excellent, and it's so well done. The plot and the setting and the world building and everything about it was so good and so wholesome and so sweet and so well done and just so good. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. So in conclusion, I really enjoyed making this video, even though sometimes I am screaming into a void and, like, maybe 5 people actually use my book recommendations or whatever. I love genuinely making videos and creating content and stuff. So anyway, in conclusion, I hope that you enjoyed my video, and if you did, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the backpack emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!